How's it going, guys? Name's Gory Plains, and we're back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile on Master Duel, and today we're going to be taking a look at Krawler, because Krawler is actually one of the archetypes from the Link era that is, like, grown to be a personal favorite of mine, just because the gimmick of it is so funny to me, because a lot of people on Master Duel don't read cards, so you get to do the floating with it quite a bit. But I wanted to go ahead and show you guys this to kind of take a break from all the machine stuff that I've been doing. So let's go ahead and jump right into the list. Here we are with our creepy little crawlers. These guys are annoying, to say the least, to go against. Are they great? Absolutely not. This deck is entirely for fun. This is not meant to be like super competitive, but of course I tried to make it as best and like as viable as I can with the cards that I have, because I want to keep in mind I'm still playing the game free to play. I'm not playing it like paying a bunch of money. I'm trying to keep it as free to play as well, mainly because I'm poor. But yeah, so this is kind of the list that I've come up with the cards that I have at my disposal. And of course, I'm going to offer up some recommendations and stuff like that for extra stuff. If you guys don't have the cards, or if you do have the money and stuff for the cards, then I can tell you what all would be great for it anyways. But let's go into the card by card. So we got 3 Maxx C. This deck needs a lot of interaction to kind of help it get going. So cards like Maxx C, Ash, and Imperm are pretty important. It needs ways to be able to interact with your opponent outside of pawns, flip up a monster, because that is very slow, unfortunately. That's the downside with the deck. It's a flip archetype. Flip archetypes tend to be very, very slow. Subterror was like one of the only exceptions, is because they have like negation in the form of Fiendess and stuff like that. But this deck is very slow. That's its biggest weakness, especially because Girsu's at 1 in this game. If Girsu was at 3, the main combo for the deck would be a little bit easier to pull off, but since he's not, the deck does lose a lot of consistency because of that, which is very rough. But so we've got those for our hand traps. Then for our Krawler monsters, we got 3 Spine, 2 Axon, 3 Glial, 2 Receptor, and 1 Ranvier. We don't play Dendrite. Dendrite doesn't really do anything for you. There's not really a Krawler you really want to just send to the graveyard, especially most of the time, because Survivor does that for you. Mind Meld's Grave Effect summons it from the deck. There are just so many other ways to get that going, and Dendrite just is kind of a brick because it doesn't really advance your board like some of the other Krawlers are able to do. 3 Spine and 3 Glial. Spine is the monster remover, obviously, and Axon is the spell and trap removal. Glial is the one that summons a Krawler from your hand or graveyard. This guy is the main reason that Deus X Krawler is pretty good, because you could just keep bringing him back over and over again. This card's crazy. Basically, it's one of the only cards that has an effect while it's face down. If it's targeted by a card or effect while he's face down, you can change him to face up and negate and destroy the card that targeted him, which is really cool. And while he's face up after he's been flipped, he negates all monster effects activated on the opponent's side of the field. He has another effect to search level 9s, but there's nothing really like absolutely crazy to do with that. You can definitely there are some builds of the deck where you can implement True King of Calamities with True Kings and stuff, but those are taking away from Krawlers mainly, and it's just level 9 spam. So we're trying to make this as pure Krawler as possible. So yeah, that's about it for the Krawlers. Don't play Dendrite. It's very not great. But these are, in my opinion, probably the best ratios for them. And then, of course, we got 1 Girsu. Girsu is a 1-card Deus X Krawler set, and that's why we love him. He's a very good card in this deck. And then 2 World Legacy World Armor. You need to play him. You can play him at 1, you can play him at 2. Honestly, drawing into him while you have a Krawler set and then flipping it up is fantastic, but you have to be able to send a World Legacy monster to the graveyard. You can also substitute that for World Chalice, which can search you a World Legacy spell or trap next, which is pretty good. But yeah, so then we'll go ahead and go on to the spells. So we got 2 Wormbait. If you control an insect monster, you can summon 2 worm tokens. You can't normally special summon any level 3 or 4 monsters the turn you activate this effect. That's a restriction that never matters, in all honesty. Most of the time, you're just going to be summoning Krawlers. The only exception ever for that is Girsu, or if you need to summon Ash to make a Halq play. other than that, this is literally just a free one of your Link 2s, which is very important. Foolish Burial Goods, because sending Mind Meld to the graveyard is very important for this deck. You want this card in the graveyard because you want Deus X Krawler on the board ASAP, because this card outs a lot of decks, believe it or not. He is very strong, and you want to see him as much as possible. 3 World Legacy Survivor, this is like one of your main consistency pieces. You can activate the top 5 cards of the deck, and if you do add an activated Krawler monster or World Legacy card to your hand, so it searches out your Mind Meld as well as your pawns, or it can search out your Crawlers and your Field Spell. And then we play 2 of the Field Spell. The Field Spell is okay. You want to play like 2. If you play 3, it's kind of a little bit bricky. 2, in my opinion, I would probably test cutting it down to 1 and then implementing like another card or something. But right now, I think 2 is okay. I like the pseudo effect that it has, where if I'm correct, it is, yeah, when a flip monster is destroyed by battle at all, you can send the monster that battled it to the graveyard, which actually outs a lot more things than you'd expect. Like Winda boards, it outs Winda very easily. There are a lot of ways for it to out those like very problematic boards. And then 2, Called by the Grave, because hand traps are annoying and it's Called by the Grave. It can be like a solemn judgment for a deck as well. Then we got 2 Mind Meld. This card is fantastic. Basically, it makes it when if your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Krawler, the activated effect becomes return a face-up monster your opponent controls to the hand, which basically procs your Krawler's floating effect to summon 2 from the deck and face down. So that's really good. And then its Grave effect, you target a Link monster, summon a Krawler from your hand, deck, or graveyard to a zone it points to. This card is crazy. And then Pawns just gets you the ability to flip a card face up or face down during your opponent's turn, which is really nice. Then for extra deck, we got our little baby Zeus package here. We've got our Sky Cavalry, and because he can't be destroyed by battle while it has Exceeds material, you can crash into something, make yourself a Downerd, and then make yourself a Zeus, which gets you a format, which is very good. Then for the Krawler links, we got 2 Synaphysis, 2 Neurogos, and 1 Qualiark. Please play 2 Qualiark. I only have 1. I do not have any more UR points to make another Qualiark, and it's so frustrating. As you can see, I am broke in the UR department. But yes, please play 2 Qualiark. You can take out like a Cerberus, Phoenix. You can take out whatever you want for the Qualiark. You can even maybe cut like the Synaphysis or Neurogos, one of those down to 1 if you would like. But yeah, Qualiark is the main card. You want to play 2 of him 1000%. I play a Halq because there are a lot of situations where you do, let's say for instance, draw into an Ash Blossom, and you want to be able to do something with that. And then if I'm correct, yeah, Girsu also can become a tuner, and then this turns into a Unicorn, which can then turn into an access code. Halq is there for situations. A lot of your extra deck besides, you know, the Zeus package and, you know, your Krawler stuff and Lib is just situational stuff. Like the Nightmares package, Ningirsu, you can make very easily in this deck, and it's non-targeting removal, which is very nice. Unicorn can shuffle something back into the deck, and access code to close out games when it's there. But anyways, that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump right on in to the duels. As you guys can see, I am in Plat 3. This is a place where Crawlers do not belong. I love this deck, but it struggles so much against meta strategies, but we're just going to take it in for some fun and see how well it can actually do against some decks. Going second with this deck sucks, though. Oh, God, yeah, that's... Again, Krawler's a very fun deck to play, in my opinion. Definitely more fun to play with friends and on the lower bracket, but in Platinum, it's very hard. Oh, we did draw a hand trap. Crawlers, believe it or not, though, have an insane matchup against Invoked. It's actually crazy because a lot of the times, let's say you set like a spine, and mainly it's because people don't read. The Macabre will attack into your spine. Don't tell me it's Tritron. Oh, we're so dead. All right. Well, we're gonna cut to when, you know, their turn's over. If we're able to play through their board, you'll see this game still going on. If not, we'll be in a different game. So, yeah. All right. As you guys could probably tell, 1 Imperm is never enough to go through Drytron when they have probably one of the best hands like ever. So, we lost. But we're going first this time against Oppie 310. Hopefully we don't get utterly curb stomp, but this hand's actually somewhat interesting. We did draw our Axon. I was hoping that we'd maybe get like Spine because monster removal is a little bit more prominent. We do have an Imperm. We have pawns to be able to do that as quick play removal. Question is if I want to fire off Shadow, because then they're going to know we're playing Krawler. We kind of want them to not expect that. Because then, like, let's say they activate something to remove our monster, they're just not going to do that. They're never going to remove that. We want to be able to float into something right now. So I think the best play is probably just passing with that. Because yeah, that is the biggest worry, is like Krawlers are a deck when they first fire off removal and catch you off guard, you get very ahead in terms of it. You are shitting my ass. Yeah, I knew it was True King. Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't ash that. All right, True King is an interesting matchup, actually, for us. I'm not gonna lie. The biggest thing that just makes True King terrifying, of course, is skill drain. Now that is something I'm going to ash. 1000%. Let's go. Okay, I read that so well. Kinda. Okay, so we'll set one. Set one. And pass. Alright, so with this, we can flip up the Glial. I'm hoping that he tributes a trap and then targets my face down monster, because then we can flip it face up and get the effect. So he's going to fire off another duality. That's perfectly fine. See what he gets. Please don't be carded demise, or I'll cry. Another pendulum guy. Dynamite. Carded demise. Wow. He didn't get card. I guess that makes sense. Better to have something 100% than to take a chance. Perfect. Just gonna use the trap, target the face down monster, and now this is where things get wild. We flip up pawns, and he does get his effect with Dynamite Knight, which is unfortunate, but that's perfectly fine with me. So yep, he'll get his trap, which will probably be Apocalypse. Yep. Oh, he's got that glossy shit. We can do pawns, flip up our copy of Glial, and then return, pops the Glial, which then Glial lets us float into two more guys. Spine Receptor, I think, is the best way to go about this. 100%, I think that's the play. As long as he doesn't activate another trap card, please don't. Okay, yeah, go battle phase. It's gonna go into the spine. Perfect. That's actually awesome. So yep, we get to activate our spine, and we get to go ahead and sack off his Dynamite Knight, which is pretty good, because now he doesn't have a monster. And if you can cancel out True Draco's monsters, they kind of struggle a little bit sometimes. So I'm fine with that. So we know he has Apocalypse. We have the Axon set. So we could set Axon, flip him up. Let's start by flip summoning Receptor. Getting his effect. And then we can get World Armor out of our hand. It's gonna Imperm, huh? Well, joke's on you! And we could be, do we want to be Galaxy Brain right now? Anti-spell? We could be Galaxy Brain. Activate pawns. Shuffle Glial back into the deck to put him face down. So that way, Imperm doesn't negate him, baby. Let's go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and grab Glial. Good as time as any. And then World Armor, we'll go ahead and fire off his effects. See, now we're in an interesting spot. We could get Mind Meld, which would be good. But the issue, we have World Armor on board, which I'm not a fan of. I think I have an idea. So what we'll do here, who do we not really care about? Who do we have set? We have Receptor. I guess we can summon out Ranvier. Well, we're gonna go ahead and Phoenix here, right? because I want to... Who do we not care about? We can get Axon back with the Glial in hand, and we'll go ahead and sack off this anti-spell. Then we'll set that, go battle, and punch for 1900! And then we pass with that. Thank God we got that off the board. Oh, that is definitely a card. I was hoping they wouldn't draw. I think we go ahead and fire off pawns, just to be on the safe side. The funniest thing, though, well, shit. I'm assuming he's gonna pop Phoenix. Does he have the Ash? Okay. Let's get a Glial now. That's interesting. Okay. No, wait, yeah, he knows I have the Mind Meld. No, that makes sense. That was right. Especially if he knows I have Mind Meld. Oh, that's terrifying. He's got back row for days. Okay. We got a lot of thinking we gotta do here. Shadow's huge. Let's start off with Glial. Let's see if we can get a Glial to resolve here. All right, bitch. Let's see what you've got. Flip up your cards. Flip up your cards. Let me see what you got. God damn it. Really? Why? Why, SpongeBob? Why do these harlots play skill drain? Yeah. Yeah. I'm going crazy. We actually have nothing that's bigger than his god. God damn it. I was hoping we'd have something that's a little bit bigger. Yeah, there's no point in summoning a Krawler, dude, unfortunately. What is good is the field spell. So we just have a Glial. We run this dude right into Dynamite Knight. We take 15, and then the field spell will send him, meaning that we can punch him directly for some damage. So yeah, he's gonna do the effect to half. Go for it. I am fine with that. Oh, he's gonna do that. I mean, yeah, I'm... Hey! There we go! Heck yeah, we actually won one. I will gladly take that as a win. 1000%. And we're back with the deck. And well, as I stated, even though this wasn't, you know, spectacularly a great showing for Krawler, the deck is fun to play. It's not a competitive deck by any means, and of course, if you're in the earlier ladders, I definitely recommend this deck. It is very cheap. Again, you're probably looking at all the URs like, no, it's not. It's very cheap. These are just staple stuff. The entire deck is just R, SR, like, these are the only cards that are anything, and you can get, if I'm correct, you get some of the cards for Krawler from the story mode. So, in all honesty, the deck is it's fun. I love the deck. I love how it plays. I love how a lot of the time, if you catch them off guard with that first floating effect, it really kind of puts the game into your favor. Again, this deck is not meant for competitive play. That is the biggest flaw with the deck. Like, it's very, like, the good things about the deck, it can swarm very easily. Its grind game is crazy good. Like, a lot of the times late game, this deck, if left untouched, can just do so many crazy things and set up a board of like 2 of these guys plus Qualiark, and then next thing you know, you have like a 3k 100 or a 3k monster on board, which is terrifying. And it has good utility. A lot of the cards in this deck have very strong purposes. Like Spine and Axon are your spot removal. Glial is your recursion for your link guys. Receptor gets you to whatever you need. Deus X is good as like a pseudo VFD. Like all your links serve a purpose of recursion. Like there's every card in the deck has a very strong purpose. The issue is it takes a while. The deck needs to be left alone to be able to actually properly get its grind game going for a turn. Like, yeah, if you get the flip effect and the float, that's very good. But if they get rid of the 2 monsters you floated into, it just meant you deck thin by 2 cards in the long run. All in all, there are a lot of other cards you can play. You can totally make this a more going second build if you want, and may play more like Lightning Storm, Forbidden Droplet, stuff like that. I don't have those cards, so that's why I'm not playing them. So a lot of people are gonna probably recommend stuff in the comments as well. So look in the comments. I have a lot of cool people that comment all the time and recommend cards to put into your deck. So please check that out. And yeah, there's a bunch of other things that you can play in the deck. If you want to make it more swarmy, you can play Wormbait plus like multiplication of ants for more cards to play. The Insector link is also very good. That's one card I forgot to put in here. That's definitely a card to put in here. Different types of hand traps are always nice. And again, if you want to go second, Forbidden Droplets, Dark Ruler, stuff like that is very, very strong. So this deck in earlier ladders, I'd say probably from beginner to gold, very fun to play. If you want something to just screw around with, go for it 100%. But deck is just not competitively viable whatsoever. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I hate Drytron and for making me sad. If you guys did enjoy this, please check out some of my other content on here. I do a bunch of other Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I actually started a new series, which I will link down below for you guys to check out. It's pretty cool. It's a kind of a little sealed only series that I'm starting on Master Duel. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other decks that you want me to mess around with or any card recommendations for this deck, please let me know, because I'd love to hear back from you guys. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!